Hi, and welcome to the SkillTree podcast. On the show, we'll be interviewing the team behind SkillTree, its community, and creators that are making this movement happen. On the show today, it will be a more visual episode. I'll be showing the background of how the app got built, our processes, and some of the templates that we used. So it's just going to be me today, Jack Weston. So hope you guys enjoy. So first thing I want to talk about is kind of the journey of how SkillTree was made. Um, it goes back all the way to fall of, or even before the fall of 2024. This was winter, or no, this was summer break, sorry. So me and some friends decided it would be fun to build out a small project using our computer science skills. And given we were part of a calisthenics club, a common question that was asked is, why isn't there a better app for calisthenics? Everything that we've seen out there at the time was influencer based, pretty much a collage or um, catalog of all these influencer videos just organized and given to users. Very much a lifestyle app, I would say. And being students and open-minded, we decided, hey, why don't we try and build that ourselves? So during that time, we threw up it was like a Instagram post on the Trithenthenics Instagram, Trithenthenics being the calisthenics club at the time. And we got a few people interested in helping out, and we really started to build out the team, get everybody introduced, and everyone was learning and very, very new to the process at the time. There were some out there that I think were definitely more advanced. Um, but yeah, so we started with just developing the Figma, which I'll show real quick, and also developing out kind of the progression tree that we'd be looking for. Um, so here I will share, this is a first thing that I started with. This was kind of a collaboration between me and my friend Mustafa. So as you can see here, we kind of cooked up what we thought to be the best progressions people would be interested in learning for calisthenics. So we started with just a simple push-up progression. And I think as everybody knows, there's not one way of getting to where they want to be. We chose our favorite way and we thought was the easiest and most intuitive. Um, so as you can see, some exercises, they go from a very simple, incline push-up, knee push-up to getting your first push-up. I think there's a lot of stuff in between here as well that we can add, which later on we iterated on. But yeah, we really tried to just split it up, create it like a tree-like structure. I think some of the inspiration, if anyone has played Balloons Tower Defense, I really like their progression tree. You can see how, sometimes it takes more than one upgrade to get to the next. And that's kind of how we saw it as well. Is let's see, for example, handstands. So for handstands, you really, really need a solid foundation in push type skills to be able to help sustain your body. And so what we did for the handstand progression, I think it's right here. This push-up is kind of like a prerequisite before you can even get the handstand. So if we saw this as a tree structure in data science, or if we did like a tree in computer science, you would look at possibly creating something that does like a search, and then you want to get to handstand, and then it fills in everything in between. So yeah, this was kind of our first design, our first prototype of what the actual exercises would look like. And we'll move on from there. I want to show you guys kind of what we were building at the same exact time, we can take a look here. This was the first version of our Figma. So completely different design. You can definitely tell the inspiration from Duolingo here. So let me see. Prototype might still be broken, but I will take a look and see. Maybe it's not. So I did the majority of this design here. I really referenced it was strong, I think fitness app at the time, and also heavy. They were both very good fitness app takers. So, you could put your sets and reps, and a lot of I think heavy was really good at creating custom exercises. And I think they actually now have a lot of calisthenics inspired exercises. So yeah, let's take a look here. Let me see if I can shrink this a little bit. Moving a little slow here. Come on. I think this is okay. All right. So, this whole onboarding sequence, very, very much, these would, in Duolingo terms, this would be the languages, right? You want to learn your handstand, for example. How did you learn about us? What are you learning, right? What's your reason? How long have you been training? And what's your weekly goal? If you go on the flow of Duolingo, it's the exact same. Now, this was kind of where we took our take. You can see each note is kind of like a main exercise. So scapular shrug, for example, is the first one that you want to do. So you're just doing 3 sets, very simple, getting people to do it. You can put in your own reps and RPE as you want. And then that would be the workout. Very simple, some questionnaires. Um, and yeah, you would then progress arching, okay? Which then you build off of, your scapular shrug. Okay. So now you know 2 skills, getting closer. And as you move up, you learn more and more skills until you can do a full exercise with it. So you have your scapular shrug, your arch hang, your pull up negative, and then hopefully your pull up. As you can already tell, there were a lot of issues with this version. How do we know when somebody needs to progress? How many times does somebody have to redo a node until they're ready for the next round? And also, being a fitness app, we're limiting it to just this one kind of focus. You got to develop the other parts of your body as well. So, um, so that's where this kind of iteration stopped. And we took a little break over the summer because we started developing. I think a lot of people got burnt out. You can see some of we referenced the body weight fitness progressions. Great reference, by the way, if you're interested in calisthenics. And then this was kind of like a mock-up I made of like how the flow might look for login. Very just like high level stuff at the time. And then by the end of that summer, we moved into this new version of the Figma. So this gets a little bit more complicated, and it focuses a lot more on what we believe to be the core issues. So let me see if this flow works as well. It's a little, we've been working on it for a minute, so some of the prototyping might have been broken. So the idea here was, okay, let's take the original concept, but let's get rid of the note taking because the current, I think, well, for us at least, the hardest thing to get into fitness is really just starting. And so making things so complicated, like you have to track your reps, track your sets, know how you're doing the exercise correctly. It was all very complicated. So we wanted to find a very better value proposition. What can we provide to users that they would find valuable and we can really do something interesting with? So We updated some of the onboarding sequence. Um, we added some skills here, and let's see. Yeah, it's a little broken, but let's go to, I want to go to this slide here. I believe, yeah, see if this works. Just got to get past the annoying part. All right, we're still there. No worries. Um, but yeah, so kind of the two features that we came up with was our workout sequence and our post detection sequence. So for the workout sequence, again, we wanted to make it as easy to understand, as beginner friendly as possible, so that, you know, anyone could download the app and get started. Keeping on the same page of, yes, let's do the same progression style, we worked on this. So first off, you know, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. This encompasses, you know, the kind of barrier to fitness that a lot of people see is time. So firstly, we're like, okay, timing is an issue. Let's give them options for how long they can pick the workout. I think the biggest other thing was, you know, I think when people go to the gym, they have to get ready, get dressed. Sometimes they have to eat, you know, make a protein shake. So keeping the calisthenics sort of, we wanted to start there still, just because we wanted to make sure for anyone, they can do this anywhere, anytime, right? And at least for me and most others who are more into calisthenics, we see the value in terms of, you know, you're able to build strength and build functional fitness through calisthenics. I think a lot of people see it as, you know, like a older generation type of exercise, but it really is tough. Like you see gymnasts out there, it's kind of nuts what they can do. So yeah, as you could see when I went through that sequence, there was no point in time where you had to put in your steps, put in your reps. Um, and what we concocted was kind of this recommender system that was able to work off of your experience and your skills. If we move on here a little bit, take a look at um, take a look at the post detection model. So this was the second thing that we realized was very tough. And this is something I've experienced personally as well, where you go to the gym, you start exercising, you're watching your YouTube videos, following the workout plans, and you realize, oh, I've been doing this wrong the entire time. I think I experienced that when I was deadlifting. It was only like maybe 2 years after I realized, oh wow, my deadlifts could have been so much better if I was doing the correct form, and it feels so much better. And I'm glad I had a friend who pointed it out. Otherwise, I think it definitely could have done some long-term damage there. So let's take a look. We have, let's find out where it is here. Could have been in this one. There's a lot of iterations we went through. It's kind of funny. One thing I would definitely recommend for people who are building their own product is start simple. This is way too complicated for what you need. Build out your original feature, build out the main things, and then just release it, see if people like it. So yes, this is the one. You can see, oh boy, a lot going on here. All right, so if we take a look, yes, this is our sequence right here. I think it's this one. Try that. So this was another. So what you saw before was the one we worked on over the summer, and this is kind of in the live document as we've been building. If you look at how we've changed some stuff, we added a new tab, and that is like our camera feature, quote unquote. And this is where we got inspiration to do kind of like we saw a Snapchat filter while we were building this. It was made by Red Bull, actually. And the filter actually had some of these models on there. And what I think is really interesting is like, yeah, like a big company is actually interested in doing this stuff. Now, I don't know if it was just for them a marketing technique or what, but yeah, I mean, it'd be very cool to collaborate with them in the future if the possibility arises. But yeah, as you can see, like the flow is very much Snapchat-esque. These kind of look like filters. You go through kind of a sequence, and then at the end, you get to actually do the exercise and it counts your reps. And we spent a lot of time developing this feature. We really want to build it out further, get some voice feedback, get some actual, you know, um, I think a lot of people I've seen nowadays with LLMs, you can identify, what's going on in the video and suggest how to optimize your form or what you can do better. And that's kind of what this microphone feature is. We never fully incorporated it just yet. Since we wanted to release the MVP, we said, all right, enough is enough. Let's get what's needed, and then just let's see how people react to it, and then we can decide if we want to add even more features than we already have. Um, but from this idea also came another very interesting concept, which is what we call our duels feature. So we were like, this is such a cool like model that we've built. Why don't we use it in another capacity? So we created a dual feature on the app, and we said, okay, why don't we make it so that you can do your reps. Once you learn a skill, you go down the progressions, you get to the final node, and then as that node, you can do the actual exercise, and then you unlock how to challenge your friends. So you did all that work, you learned how to do a push-up, and now you can send that off to your bestie, whether they're out in California, whether they're in New York, even if they're across the country, in India, in China, in Europe, whatever it is, you can always ping them and say, hey, I did 30 push-ups today. Let's see how many you can do. And it's one of our ways of really trying to get that product. I think like I forget the exact term, but really having the product market itself. Like if people really like the feature, they're gonna share it with their friends. And we hope that's kind of gonna be the impression. But yeah, I think this is super cool. And I really think that, if people like it enough, we can really develop more and see where the value lies. Like I want to see like competitions. We can make elos, and we can even do, you know, prizes for winners. I don't know if anyone plays Wild Rift. Wild Rift is really they each I don't know how often they do their seasons actually, but everyone is so into it. They derank you after each season, which to me is super demotivating. I think Duolingo does the same thing. I'm not too sure. I think it's when you don't play enough. But yeah, you get deranked and then new season starts up. You then start climbing, right? You're able to show people, okay, this is how many people I've defeated, this is how many games I won, and then you climb. And it was super fun. I played it for like a few weeks. Really enjoyed it, but I totally see that as like a future case for this. And yeah, I'm super excited to know like where this will lead, especially as people download the app and give us feedback. I've heard multiple people say even like, we want more than just calisthenics. We want golf and pickleball and other ways of detecting poses and seeing how we're doing exercises. So I would be so enthralled with those ideas. Like I think they're so cool. But that aside, I think really is what we've been working on for uh I want to say like I've been doing this for about a full year at this point. I know the rest of the team has only been there for about 6 months, but that's really been where most of the development has been. And yeah, big props to the rest of the team, especially my co-founder who's been really leading the effort in getting the app out there. So yeah, I want to just say, um, if you're interested in downloading the app, you can always check us out at skilltreefitness.com. Skilltree Fitness being one word. And then you can always feel free contact me on here on Substack. I'll be more than happy. I check notifications every week, and or you could just email us personally. I'm the one who manages that mainly. So if you just want to chat, feel free. But yeah, I'm hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm super excited to have the app out fairly soon for you guys all to try. So thank you for everyone who has been along on this journey with us and been so supportive. But that's it for me this week. So I'll see you guys next time.